All right.
Gays.
Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hellish Brand Activity. I don't remember what episode this is, so I'm not even gonna
I think it's episode
bother.
9.
All right. Anyway, this counting them wouldn't be a problem if I actually got them all uploaded before we recorded new ones. So, my bad. But yeah, today, as Aaron has reiterated, we're doing a Garden of Words for the third time. We're doing chapters 5 and 6 this time around.
Mhm.
Um, I really like these chapters. More so 5 than 6. I found it kind of hard to like take note of things to talk about in 6 compared to 5, but I still liked both of them.
Mhm.
How about you guys?
I thought they're yeah. I thought that I liked chapter 6 even though it introduced a new character. Because like this guy has a good reason to exist and is also like very different from everyone we've met before.
Yeah.
So he's shown out. Like like
Sorry.
he has relations to two of the characters that we've already seen, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask right now, but I do want to touch on it again later. Is this like, is his relation to both Yukino and Takao like supposed to be a twist, or was it hinted that Yukino worked at the school earlier? Cause
She said, she thought she looked at Taco and I was like, oh, there's a high school or something, and then she's like, oh wait, and then she says like, I think we might have met before.
oh, right, okay, I forgot about that line. I knew that was something.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was super caught off guard when when it came out that she had worked at the school and that's where she had just quit from and stuff, because I was like, how did Taco not notice? How was that not like explicitly pointed out? Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense. All right. Oh, you said you had to get your HelloFresh. This video is not sponsored by HelloFresh. If they
Okay.
send me food, then it will be.
This video is sponsored by Hello Kitty. Do drugs, steal money from store, do drugs. Thank you.
Right. She forgot to say
Thank
be
you.
gay, but
Be gay.
Alright, so yeah, in chapter 5, we focus back on Yukino a bit. We learn a few things. I guess like she has an illness, sort of. Um, I'm not really sure what to make of it in terms of like what to call it, because
Mhm.
the story, at least she says her doctors say it's like a what's the word they use? Psycho something illness. Because like nothing's really wrong with her body, but she like loses her sense of taste and she gets like,
Psychosocial stress.
yeah,
Yeah.
she loses her sense of taste. She gets like stomach aches really easily, stuff like that. So we learned that about her, and then what else? We learned that she quit her job at the school, and yeah, she worked at the school that Takao goes to, which
Mhm.
he just didn't pick up on, I guess. Um, and we meet her ex, kind of, in chapter 5. Like, she
Mhm.
has a conversation with him, and that's kind of all that happens. Um, but, yeah. The chapter opens up with, like, if I remember right, she's, like, walking home or something. She's, like, just arriving home,
Mhm.
and she describes the mess that is her home, and how it's a list of things that she needs to do, and then she just doesn't do them and, like, goes to bed. I
He's
thought,
so cool.
yeah, I put in my notes. Aaron will say she's just like me for real in reference to Yukino because of that segment.
Yeah.
um, and then she's like reflecting on whatever it is she has with Takao at the moment, I guess.
Mhm.
And I don't, I don't really know what to make of like how she sees their relationship. I'm not gonna lie,
Mhm.
cause like I have to admit that I'm actually like fairly fond of how it's developed, I guess. Like as much as I joked about, don't fuck the high schooler when we talked about it in chapter 1, it's like I can't help but find like how Takao sees Yukino and how Yukino sees Takao to be like cute, you know?
Mhm.
Um, so I have like some conflicting feelings about it, especially because I feel like for Yukino, it's not really clear like how she feels about Takao. Like she does like, you know, like him and enjoy his presence and stuff, but compared to when Takao, we get like him saying, you know, he's in love with her and stuff, or he thinks he is. You know, we don't get anything as clear cut for from Yukino about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have conflicting feelings about it. I'm not sure what to make of it. What about you guys? Especially you, Aaron, because you were when we talked about it this book the first time, you were saying how like you were thinking it's just gonna develop into like a very nice friendship and stuff. So I'm wondering how you feel about their development now.
Yeah, it's honestly like quite depressing seeing Yukino be like just fall apart when the rainy season stops and she doesn't get to meet Takao again. Like she didn't really, it's like she didn't really realize like how hard she was relying on this, or how
Yeah,
much she needed this.
yeah,
And I'm hoping like she's able to like pull herself back together again.
right, yeah,
I
me,
mean, she's still like she notes that her taste, her sense of taste has come back after she met Takao. So even though like the thing, like her like meetings with him haven't been like happening recently, like she still has that at
hmm
least, which I guess is like meant to symbolize just how social interaction can just leave a lasting positive impression on you if the other person's just pleasant, even if you like have lost contact with them since. So I guess it's kind of a bittersweet moment for her.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. No,
I was gonna talk about the bar scene, but that's a different topic. We haven't really gone there yet.
right, that's fair. Yeah, I wanted to like comment on what you said about like positive social interactions still like having impact on you even if that social interaction is gone. I pulled this like specific quote from the book. It says, later on, Yukino would learn that her premonition had been accurate, that she'd hurt someone or
Hmm.
lose something. In a way, our time in that garden was the high point of my life. And yet, even then, those perfect moments would continue to warm Yukino's life with a strength that no one could ever destroy.
All
And
right, well that's the book just saying that.
yeah. uh but like when I was reading it, I pulled that because you know, I completely agree with you. Like for me there are a handful of people in my life who are either not really part of my life anymore or they just kind of exist on the outskirts of my life, and they did not get there for like good reasons, or like I guess not bad ones, you know, like because there is definitely people in my life who just, you know, stopped being a part of it because of circumstances where there were like no hard feelings, not like anything negative happened between us. It's just like, you know, how our lives developed and stuff, you know, our circumstances changed or whatever it might be.
Hmm.
But there are some other people who they more or less like put themselves there, or I'm not really sure how to phrase it. It's like the reason that they're there is because we were good friends, and then something happened between us, and like now we're kind of like not, you know.
Yeah,
I would say like Gohar is a good example of the first kind where, you know, he just kind of is doing his own thing, you know,
yeah. He just
and then
went a different way than we did.
yeah, but then like for a while Jay was like the second one where it's like it's not like he just like went his own way. He explicitly decided to leave, you know.
Yeah.
And to me that feels different. And like more IRL, there's like people from middle school that I still talk to here and there who
Hmm.
they only exist on the outskirts of my life because like something happened between us and we don't really talk that much anymore. um
Also, remember that this is recorded, so don't shit talk people you know IRL.
right, I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not. I'm just saying like and I'm not saying like they did something bad and like that's why we don't talk. It's also like an
Hmm.
argument or something that we might have had or something like that. But my point is that like they exist on the outskirts for not good reasons. Kind of like what Yukino was reflecting on, where she's like, you know, she would hurt someone or lose something in indulging in her relationship with Takao. Um, and like it still resonates with me though because it's I don't have it in me to like allow whatever good moments I have with those people to be tainted by whatever might have happened to like make us not be as close anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I guess the sentiment is like, how could I hate or have like negative feelings about someone who impacted me that way? Like, I'm
Hmm.
a mosaic of everyone who I've ever cared about, and I'm not gonna like allow part of me to feel tarnished because things aren't still going as great as they once were, you know?
Hmm.
So I just really resonated with Yukino feeling that those moments would always be like a good memory for her.
Hmm. Yeah. So like even if like you might have ultimately your passive ultimate might have ultimately diverged, you still like have a lot to thank them for, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of something that I was talking with some other friends about recently, where it's like I feel like from friends I have IRL and from I guess like exposure to internet culture, there's this sort of like, for me, there's like this sort of social pressure to like hate people who have like left your life now, whether it be like an ex significant other or like, you know, a past friend or whatever. And I don't know, I just don't have it in me to like do that, because it's
Yeah.
like
I don't think most people do.
you have these are people who, like, no matter what happened between us, they still did a lot of good for me, you know? And I've definitely have friends who, like, their exes or whatever were just like really shitty people, and it took them a long time to realize it. And so they weren't really happy like the entire duration of that relationship. And that I can understand, but like for me it's like I've never had someone in my life where it's like I didn't like interacting with them the majority of the time, and it just went on until like they left. So now that they're
Hmm.
gone, I'm like openly hating them. It's like it's too much emotional effort, but it's also like you made me happy at some point, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how could I hate you for how could I hate the person who's responsible for that?
Yeah, I don't know, it's all complicated and stuff.
Yeah.
What do the other two think?
Fiora? Rob?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I haven't had like big feuds with people.
Hmm.
And I kind of just, I kind of just drifted away from other people just because like I didn't have anything common with them anymore. But
Hmm.
This time, I think about late 2017, when I had a really bad, basically I had a really bad breakup with a well-known friend of mine, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I thought I had effectively squandered that relationship, or like
Hmm.
friendship, whatever it was. Um, and it really, in the end, I ended up beginning to almost pretend that person didn't exist.
Hmm.
I just wanted to hide away from them, not make it clear that I was even around.
Hmm.
And it definitely hurt me a lot, and I have a feeling it hurt everybody around me a lot. And I'm honestly so glad that we ended up getting back together after
Hmm.
his GCSEs were over, because things ended up preparing themselves very quickly, and I ended up with perhaps the most influential friend in my life. Somebody who
Yeah.
felt like I could genuinely talk to as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of understand it from that feeling perspective, where you can have that breakup where you just start to grow distant from somebody and start to. I wish they weren't there or begin to demonize them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
sometimes it just ain't that way, and sometimes you are greatly overreacting.
Hmm.
Early in the first chapter, we have or not the first, in chapter 5, we have a scene where it's Yukino and what's her name? Fucking Takao. Yeah, Yukino and Takao, like they're in the garden again, you know, they're talking, and it's mostly, or it's completely from Yukino's perspective, which is kind of nice. Um
Hmm.
and
Her perspective is better.
yeah. And this brings me to like the first thing that I like really wanted to talk about when we got to this, I mean. Um, it's the line where she says, "When I was his age, I think I had plenty of energy for those things." And and by those things, she's talking about how like how he can like sleep well in places, how much energy that
Oh
takes,
yeah,
and
because
his
he's
like
sleeping. He's just
yeah,
taking a nap.
and his like passion for shoemaking and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And then, she thinks, "Hey kid, what do you think of me?" And then she says out loud, "Am I still okay?" And
He's asleep. He can't hear her.
right, yeah, he's asleep. He can't hear her. But I think that maybe Yukino is meant to show us a different side of of the troubles of adulthood compared to Shota.
Mhm.
Like Tako, or not compared to Shota, but compared to every character who isn't Takao so far.
Yeah,
Like,
because they seem to be having a good time, but he's kind of struggling with it,
yeah.
I guess.
Well,
But
I
mean,
don't know if I would
it's
say
deeper than
that.
that, obviously.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, Tako's mom shows us one kind, a struggle to find lasting love, and I guess a struggle with alcoholism as well. And Shota shows us another, the drain of working. I would specify like a corporate job, but honestly, it is just like the drain of working.
Hmm.
Zhao Fang maybe shows us another, like, maybe Zhao Fang shows us the struggle of doing what you might have to do to actually accomplish what you want, and how that can still lead to like loss along the way.
Hmm.
Specifically in relation to like Zhao Feng and Yoko having to break up. And then maybe, I guess to me right now, Yukino shows us like a more organic world wariness, um, to where it's like I feel like the wariness present in every other adult character isn't something that is originated from like within themselves as much as Yukino's is. And like, I guess the reason I feel that way is because the way she describes it is that she just like lacks energy for the basic day-to-day tasks, because like she's still a fairly young adult and she's just like trying to hold everything together. And like that's why
Yeah.
she voices her thoughts to like this kid, even though he's like asleep. He's like, that I've lost this sort of like shine of youth. Am I still okay?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just wanted to like, what do you guys think of like my um, I don't know, I guess like my observation on like every adult we've met so far showing us like a different sort of struggle of adulthood. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I would. I would also say that probably uh Yukino's condition is probably supposed to be interpreted in some ways as literal as well as metaphorical. Like like you can say that like yeah, she is insecure about getting older or whatever, or being alone, but also like she also might just not have very much physical energy, period. And just be overworked and just struggling. And like that can happen to like that can just like happen to anyone.
Yeah. Fiora?
So I would argue that there's something at least tying all of these struggles of adulthood together. It almost
Yeah.
feels like the teenage boy's experience is, in many ways, emblematic of all of the other adult experiences we've experienced thus far. The sort of immaturity that is displayed in every other adult character that we see. But in some ways, it ends up displaying a lot better than otherwise could be. It ends up displaying a moral reason for doing so, as opposed to something that's like more contextual, like teenage boys' habit of drinking. But it's also reflecting everybody else.
Right.
In some way, I feel like the teenage boy is what these are the experiences that the teenage boy will effectively learn to go through, and it almost feels like it's trying to document it from his point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. I think that's really
That's
good.
fair. Like I was seeing, like, oh, I gotta grow up, I guess, but all these adults are just suffering. What is even the point of this?
Yeah.
Strategy: don't grow up.
So true.
Become an
Real.
immature wife like me and Aaron.
Very true.
Rob?
Yes. You definitely said that what I was thinking of saying.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
In the movie, is there like this like, do they explicitly spell it out? Like, oh, TAKAO now observes. Like, is there some corny narrator who just spells out basically?
That'd
No,
be fucking awful, but no,
I
they
was
do
gonna
not.
say it's an anime movie. Those motherfuckers never have narrators. Anime.
TAKAO thought adulthood would be all fun and games. Like, does it say that on the movie cover?
Yeah,
I
it does.
don't believe you. Show me.
What?
I don't believe you.
Okay.
Show me.
I believe you. I believe Robert.
Wow.
Here, I'm gonna find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
What?
What? Anyway, so yeah, and then after that, with them at the garden, yeah, we see, or that's when we learn when Yukino is like sick. She goes on to describe how like she can't taste things except chocolate and beer. At least before she met TAKAO, because like she just slowly lost her sense of taste, and
COVID-19.
yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that when I was reading it. I was like, damn, I can't believe this story has fucking COVID in it. It's actually crazy. You know, this we just said that we might get demonetized for saying the word. But yeah, I thought the scene where she describes like her first losing her sense of taste was kind of funny. She's like, "Oh, I was eating in this fancy restaurant. I was eating some bolognese, and then I tasted it, and it tasted like nothing, which was awful. So I spit it out and scraped my tongue, and then I realized I was in a restaurant, and that people might be watching me."
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. But I've actually never heard of like the condition that her doctors say that she has. Like, they don't give it a name, but they're basically like, yeah, so basically your body's dealing with way too much stress, and that's resulting in like all these negative effects because your mental is not good. But I've definitely heard of that. I've never heard of it affecting your ability to taste things though. So that was interesting to learn. But like, is that real, or is that like a book thing?
Uh,
I'm not sure if it's
apparently.
just using certain foods and alcohol to effectively null feelings. So it might be sort of like a comorbid of the stress disorder. So it's not actually part of the diagnostics of the stress disorder, but she's going through those things anyway because of how she's coping, basically.
I see.
Coping.
Okay, Aaron.
Alright.
Yeah.
Wow.
She just said coping and giggled.
Okay.
But yeah, so we learn that she's sick, and we see the scene where she's calling her ex, and this confused me later on when I was reading chapter 6, because I didn't remember if she said his name. So I'm reading chapter 6, and I'm like, oh, is this the ex? And I couldn't figure it out until like halfway through chapter 6.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so she talks to him. He's like, or she's like, yeah, I want to resign. And he's like, all right, I'll get the paperwork handled for you. And then he says that he's glad that she met that nice old lady because it's helping her taste come back. And then I guess Yukino just told him that she met an old lady at the park.
Yeah, just a white lie, I imagine.
Right. So is this one evil?
What?
Yeah, no, you said last time that Shota's lie was evil because he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna move out in August. So is this lie evil?
Yes.
Why?
Because it because it socially does nothing to help the plight of other teachers who are seeing students platonically on the side and are worried about social pushback. Like, they need some representation. And if there are
Okay.
any others in the same situation as her, they're just not getting any help whatsoever.
Okay.
Like, we also see this with that, with like, with the gym teacher guy when he's talking to that girl in the cafe or whatever.
Yeah. I don't like his vibe. Just to get that out there. I don't like that guy's vibe.
He's suffering. He's in massive pain.
I don't know about that.
He's the avatar of our suffering.
I don't know about that. Robert
I know
says
about
he's
that.
in his Joker arc. Wow. So then, let's see, what happens after that? I think we get another scene of Yukino and TAKAO at the park, and she brought him like a shoemaking book, and he's all super excited. And she says, "I never realized your eyes could actually sparkle." And I just thought that was a really cute line.
Mhm.
Robert says him kicking the bucket is a metaphor for him kicking the bucket, in parentheses, dying.
This coming from the guy who just posted 2 peer review articles
Right, yeah.
on your sense of taste and how it can be affected by stress.
And then, yeah, and then, so they're interacting, and it all leads up to the scene where Taco's like, "Hey, I'm making some shoes, and they're women's shoes." And then Yukino's like, "Yeah, and then Takao says, "Can I see your feet?" And I could not take I could not take that line seriously.
Yeah. Milady, you see, I am an apprentice shoemaker, and I was wondering if you would let me see your feet for just a minute. First, surely I would not take a little sniff.
I really
Maybe
don't.
just a little.
I really don't like the sniffs you're doing in between these lines. but yeah, so like it's supposed to be like this tender moment or whatever, or like I don't know what it's intended to be, but it's supposed to be like something I'm supposed to take
Yeah.
seriously, because he's like measuring them and weighing them and stuff so he can like make his shoes, and shoemaking is important to him, and like Yukino's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe someone's doing this," but like in a good way. She's like flustered by it and stuff, but I can't take it seriously. He's just why did he say it like that? Just, "Can I see your feet?" I'm like, oh my god, it's hard to
I bet
see
it's
it.
I bet
Sorry.
it's a lot worse in the movie.
Oh, probably. Oh man.
No, come on, don't do this to me.
Imagine the scene.
Ah man.
No. I didn't want this image in my hand.
Suffer.
And yeah, like the following scene with him measuring and stuff, it's like it's hard to take it as sincere or endearing or whatever, because like I just can't take the book seriously after it says, "Can I see your feet?" And it has the girl react like all super flustered and stuff and shit. It's like, come on.
Oh,
Did you really have to do this?
No, hold on. There's this one fucking line.
What is it?
I know it's before.
Um,
Robert says this was before feet were popularized, and I know that, but that doesn't change anything for me, really. It makes it better that I know that's not what the author had in mind, but like my ability to take the scene seriously has not gone up in light of this information.
She remembers Miss Hinako playing the tape recording of their song during a classics lesson. If she recalls, yes, it was the bird that taught the gods about carnal knowledge between men and women.
Right. Yeah, I remember that line too. That was certainly a thing to be thinking about while you're showing someone your feet.
Like, just the way it's written. Like, before long, the boy's hands gently cup her foot. He lifts it slightly as though weighing it. Toes arch heel. His fingers move, examining her shape and softness. I'm so glad I exfoliated my heels the other day. Yukino thinks with heartfelt, really so heartfelt, you could cry. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's not much
Kill.
defending that.
No.
There's not much defending that.
Murder.
This would never happen to Lisa.
Right, because there are no women.
No, because there are no feet.
Right, my bad. This would never happen in HPMOR because they are all children.
I think it would happen in HMR. I think
Who?
there'd be one of, like, we've already seen one of those scenes so far with the Draco.
Yeah, okay, but that's like different, I think. Robert says Dumbledore looks at McGonagall's feet.
McDonald's.
No, McGonagall's.
McDonald's, I see.
Um, but yeah, so we go through this scene. It is odd and weird, and anyway, but there's a line that I liked. She says, "There's a light in you, and that light may be able to put me back together in a whole new way." I don't really have any commentary on this. I just like the line. I guess the only commentary is that like I have a fondness for quote unquote poetic prose or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it. I just thought it was a cool line.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's another line afterwards where like I think she goes home, and then she goes to sleep again. She wakes up and she's like, "Fuck, it's not raining." And she's like, "I didn't want the rainy season to end." And then she like,
And she's like, oh no! She's like that basically.
"What?
That's what she's like.
I didn't hear. You went too high. Your mic like cut you off."
That's good. I think the intent got across.
Okay. But yeah, and then she says that she like tries to give voice to the thought, and then she instantly starts
voices.
to cry, and then she says that she's never thinking that again, and I just thought that was sad. That made me
Mhm.
sad.
Yeah.
Then I don't remember why I put this here, but oh yeah, I think as an observation of that entire scene, this is the second big thing I wanted to talk about in this chunk. I think that Takao to Yukino and maybe to the rest of the characters we've been introduced to so far is meant to show us like the value of youth. She says there's sort of a halo around him, and she does compare herself to him when she thinking about her lack of energy, which is why I think that. I think maybe in the end we see that Takao's mission to grow up is a mistake, and in retrospect, that
Mhm.
seems like sort of an obvious sort of lesson, and I'm disappointed in myself for not having voiced the thought earlier.
Mhm.
But like, it's a very common sort of lesson, you know. The child wants to grow up, and you know we learn that he's not supposed to, like, because everyone who just grows up ends up like either sucking or their life sucks. There's this lyric to a song that I really like that says the young boy moves so fast he doesn't see the stars above, and it essentially conveys like the same message, you know, like
Mhm.
don't decide to grow up, don't try to rush to grow up, because the whatever innocence, whatever energy, or whatever it is about like being young, that's something you want to be able to preserve, and you'll miss out on a lot if you try to like rush to grow up. And I think this is probably why, like in retrospect, Takao seems to have a positive effect on all the grown-ups we do see him interact with.
Mhm.
Like the halo that Yukino describes, I think is meant to be the energy and enthusiasm for things that he does, and like his dreams as well. Like Rika is really impressed by his cooking because it's like that's something that he gives a fuck about, you know.
Yeah.
And for Shota and Yukino, they admire him for his shoemaking because that's something that he gives a fuck about. And I think like to Yoko specifically, it's also kind of interesting because his youth kind of reflects someone who's, I guess, untainted by the trials and potential tragedy of being in love or of losing love.
Uh-huh.
And that's why she like feels okay venting to him, and then after she's done, immediately pivots to asking him about his love life, or like potential existence of his love life.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my read on like Takao in relation to every other character right now, given the context of like how Yukino sees him. Because I think this is the first time we get to like really deep dive into her perspective on everything that's been going on. Sam, what do you guys think about that?
Um, I think that Takao and like uh his like being young in general serves as kind of like a universal vector through which various adult challenges, which are very different from each other, on paper can be mediated and turned into like something similar in practice. Like the way everyone talks about their problems to Takao, like it's kind of all the same to him because he's like never like experienced any of it. Like he doesn't drink alcohol. He hasn't had a reason to drink alcohol. Um, he has like kind of had like romantic experience, but like not really a lot. Um, he just doesn't really know how it all works, I guess, and I guess they all find that refreshing because he's non-judgmental as a result. He's like, oh damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like he's just willing to listen on its own, on his own.
Yeah. All right. Fiora, Rob.
Yeah, I mostly agree with your idea that like he's he's still like he still has a passion for things while
Mhm.
everybody else that we've met has not exactly had that besides like Xiaofeng.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he does what he wants to do.
Right.
He
Yeah.
has like freedom.
Yeah. Like that's basically like exactly how Shota sees him, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then what do we get? We see Yukino at a bar. What did you guys think of the dog man?
Saito, right?
I
That's
think
his name?
so. Like Saichiro? Yeah, I think that's his name.
No, Saito. Soichiro is the teacher guy in the next chapter.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, that guy. I thought his introduction was funny because she says he's probably a little older than she is. He reminds her of a well-groomed foreign dog. And then, do you come here
Yeah.
often? The dog man asks, raising his glass. And
Yeah.
I thought the way that I read that is that it was a really funny way to show us immediately that she's like not interested in him.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I mean, it's like you find him not ugly, but he's cute in the way a dog is, which probably isn't something that's conducive to maintaining attraction to someone. I don't know.
Also,
I don't
she keeps
even-
calling him Dogman even after she learns his name,
Yeah, that too.
which leads to her forgetting his name. And him also picking up on that, so he's not like oblivious.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that like I don't even think that she thinks that he's cute. I think she's just saying that like he looks put together, like a well-groomed dog is.
Huh. That's
Yeah,
an interesting point.
you're probably right. Honestly, I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, that makes sense. It's like a respect for. I don't know. Have you guys ever looked at someone where you're like, you are attractive, but I am not attracted to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I read this. But I mean, I think your interpretation isn't exactly the same, and it's probably more accurate. Where that's not even really how she feels. She's just like, oh, he's put together. A very abject observation.
Yeah.
Wow, they synced up. That's crazy. But I don't know. She ends up like drinking more with him, and then eventually like agreeing to go to a hotel. And so like I don't know. I guess I was wrong, or maybe she just didn't care that much. I don't know. It was weird.
I think she was just drunk.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. Because she definitely was just drunk. And then yeah, she kind of has like a panic attack when they enter the hotel lobby. I forgot exactly what happens. I think like something reminds her of
She looks at his shoes and realizes they're handmade.
right, yeah, and then that reminds her of Takao, and then she has a panic attack, and then she leaves and throws up and stuff.
Hmm.
And the only thing I really had to say about it was that Yukino is very not well.
She threw up.
Why did you say that?
Right.
But and then yeah, getting into chapter 6, in my notes I just put man, a new character, because I really thought we were done.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where we get like introduced to the her ex. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of his vibe. He did not make a good first impression on me. Because he's like, we see him, managing his gym class or whatever. People are talking, and then he just calls out like 4 random people who were in fact talking, but not the only ones, and then makes them do laps. And he's like, he even mentions that he's like, they were far from the only ones, but in cases like this, punishments don't need to be fair. They just need to work on the group, and that immediately made me not really like him that much. So I did not get a good first impression of this guy. What did you guys think of him?
He's a cop.
Okay.
So true.
Right.
He's a cop.
But yeah, and then we learn that Yukino's name is Yukari Yukino. Toho is everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, he was like, oh, I haven't seen Yukari in a while, and I'm like, damn, Borders got you down?
I think the worst part is that Yukari Yukino is pretty similar to Yukari Yakumo.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
is really funny.
they're very, very similar names.
Yeah.
You add a few extra lines and you're basically there. But yeah, so we learned that Yukino worked at the school that TAKAO goes to, and so does this teacher ex-boyfriend guy. And there's a lot of stuff that like the book says after that. I don't really remember most of it. It was mostly like him talking about work and meeting Yukino, and like I think he compares her to a sex doll at some point.
Yeah.
That further pushed him down into my negative impression of him. Like, I don't know, that just doesn't seem like something you should say about a person. But yeah, no, he compares her to like a sex doll or something, and then he's talking about her. Wait, what the fuck happens? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, and then he did like do some that I did think was positive that I liked. It was like when the scene where the staff are making them like compete in drinking, he sees like the tension in her face melt away, and that's when he first considers her like really beautiful. And I thought that was cute. That was something that made me think he wasn't like just a shitty character. And like there was another line that was similar to that where he says he's describing her and like the compelling force she has on people, and he says, who could avoid a typhoon that covers the sky or an earthquake that shakes the ground beneath their feet? And I thought that was nice. But I don't know, my negative impression of him overall increased when we get to the scene where he confesses to Yukino. For a few reasons. One, it says that he hugs her and then says, I love you and I want you to love me back. And she replied tremulously, which, if I remember right, just means like shakily, all right, as
All
a
right.
response. And I was like, that makes me think that she was probably uncomfortable. I don't really know how to interpret it because, like, when she talks about, or when she calls him in chapter 5, like, she's all like, oh, he's probably at, someone's house, and she's like, wait, no, like, we've been separated for a while, he's allowed to do that, that's fine. So it's like, it's clear that she did like him at some point, right? But I don't know, his confession to me reads like she wasn't exactly comfortable with what was happening. What do you guys think?
Mhm.
Robert says maybe she was just shaken. Yeah, that's fair. Aaron?
I don't know. I mean, I felt like he was like at least good intentioned. He's just like very brainwormed.
Right. Alright, that's fair. These are both fair perspectives. The other thing about it though that made me like already like I guess have a negative tint on the scene as it was happening was the fact that jealousy of like this 16-year-old high school girl spending time with Yukino is what he says pushes him to confess. And it's like, yes, he calls himself pathetic for it, like in the text. It's clearly we're supposed to see it as pathetic, but I mean, I still don't like it.
That's fair.
Robert says, Mia.
I mean, I called him the avatar of our suffering before, and I still stand by that.
What does that mean?
I mean, he's imprisoned by various power structures, including heterosexuality. Very directly, we see him forced to use his power in the role of the gym teacher, and just act as a cop, pretty much. And he's kind of all tangled up in this, and he doesn't really have any other direction to go, or know how to get out of this, really. He's a wretched figure.
A wretched figure, I see.
I'm just saying shit.
Robert
I mean,
says,
I always am.
Robert says he kind of strange for that. I agree. I agree. And then after that, we have Yukino at the school, and she's like officially handing in her resignation. By the way, I forgot to mention, a lot of time has passed apparently, like within these two chapters. Like we get the end of the rainy season because summer starts, and then summer vacation, and then later on, like it's winter again from what Shochiro says. So like a lot of time is passing in these two chapters, and it's a lot of time away from TAKAO's perspective. So I'm really curious to see what's been happening on his end when we go back to his perspective, because yeah, it's been like at least like 5 months at this point, right?
Where do you see winter?
Let me find it real quick. Where am I? It was like towards the end of chapter 6. Yeah, in the last segment of chapter 6, it starts saying it was the end of December. Yeah, so a lot of time has passed. Do we ever get a month for when the rainy season was?
From
July.
Yeah, July.
Wait, it ended July, I think.
June, July, and August is where it ends, I think. Or,
Okay.
Like maybe middle of July.
Because I think we are told that Yukino officially hands in her resignation, like either like start of August or mid-August, something like that. So yeah, like at least 5, maybe 6 months have passed here.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna flash back again.
Oh.
This was like a push forward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that does make more sense than us just not knowing what the fuck is happening with the main character for half a year.
That'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's like random time jump halfway through the book. Like he did it. He did the growing up part. Look at him go.
Yeah. That's just the end of it.
I thought the guy, like when Yukino was handing in her resignation, the vice principal was talking to her, and he's basically like just like, you know, this job fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really fucking funny. He like, could you imagine being that? Could you imagine being fucking Soichiro in that position? You're like working this job, you know, maybe you don't love it, but like it's a fine enough job. Someone you know is coming to like quit, and then your boss is basically like, yeah, no, I get it. Like this was a good choice. You should quit. I would quit if I could.
Yeah. You should quit this job now.
It was just a really good beat. It made me laugh. I like that we had it after like so much serious shit. It's just like, damn, he fucking hates being a teacher, especially because like obviously I don't have the perspective as someone who is an American student, not a Japanese one. But like everything he says about why teaching sucks, at least is true in America. So I was just like, yeah, this guy's just going off. He just fucking hates his job.
Aren't most of the teaching issues brought up like in the United States actually more global issues in general? Because I suppose a lot of the issues within schooling specifically are also relevant in the UK.
I wasn't saying that because I was like, oh, they're like US specific. I was saying that because I was basically trying to convey that like if they aren't, I don't know that because I went to school here.
No, dude, you don't know. The West and the East are like totally different environments, dude. They do things entirely differently over there. They have no issues with the curriculum being strict or overly restrictive. It's all totally different.
Okay.
Baseball.
I just realized the
Baseball.
more we talk about this, the more likely I am to cry.
Yeah.
I do not have a good experience with restrictive curricula.
School moment.
School moment.
Indeed, school moment.
And yeah, then we get to learn about like what happened to Yukino that made her both want to quit and made her like stress go super high. And basically the girl that she was being friends with just like turned on her and was a total bitch. She like started a rumor because the girl's boyfriend like liked Yukino, and like once again, you know, the downfall of all women is other men. Because like it's just his fault, and then the
Couldn't be
fucking
me. Couldn't be me.
the Aizawa bitch is just fucking stupid and was like, oh, I'm gonna start a rumor about the teacher because my boyfriend is a dipshit.
You just got some shit going on.
I don't care. I really don't. Not right now. And then yeah, so like because rumors are going around about Yukino and stuff, a bunch of the staff are turning against her, students are turning against her, and she just couldn't handle it, understandably so. And then like Soichiro was just also like a bad boyfriend. IMO, anyone disagree?
I mean, she said that in
You
she said in her
weren't
monologue
there.
when she
You
was
weren't in the
calling them.
relationship.
Yeah, she was just like, you listen to everyone around you instead of me.
Mhm.
When I was, you know, when I was in a shitty situation.
Yeah. It's like, in the way he describes it himself too, he says, he's describing all of the issues, and he's just like, but even after all that, I thought it was a problem she should manage herself. And it's like, I don't think you're a good partner if that's how you're treating the issues that your partner is going through. Like you help the people in your life, you know? You deciding to let them manage it themselves is something that you do after you've tried to help and they refuse to listen to you. And even
Mhm.
then, I would argue it's still your responsibility to do as much as you can without directly going against their will.
Mhm.
Because, like, yeah, no, managing it yourself is not something most people should even do, much less can actually do. Um, and then he goes deeper into how the issues developed, and then he says, and even then I couldn't stop seeing her absences from work as a kind of failure of self-sufficiency, which made me like him even less. Really, he should know better. Anyone should know better. Robert posted a text version of one of those memes where it's like the soy jack looking at a piece of media and the message going over the head. I don't even know how I would properly read this out, honestly.
Garner words. Wow! This is a poignant story about the hardships of adulthood and the importance of companionship. School fucking sucks.
Yeah, accurate.
He's so real.
But yeah, all of this is what really cemented that I don't like Soichiro. Yeah. I don't know what he could do to make me like not dislike him, but I don't like him.
What about if he took estrogen?
Why would that change anything?
It changes everything. Fiora will tell you. Fiora can confirm.
Why would that change anything about how I see Soichiro?
If you take estrogen, you stop being a cop. It's anti-cop juice.
Okay. He still did all that shit.
Yeah, characters can be redeemed in the future, motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't think just taking estrogen is redeeming.
It's the start of the journey. Is what I
Okay,
mean.
but I don't care about the start of the journey. Good for you for starting it. That doesn't mean I have to like you now.
They're gonna go up to Taco and be like, "Oh, hey kid, I know how you feel. Things fucking suck, don't they? Hey, wanna go commit crimes?"
He can be redeemed if he gives TAKAO a lot of money. All of his money. I will not have my mind changed on this.
Right.
On that note, let us take this moment to remind you that you should give us money.
Yes, you should give us money. That's right, you.
We don't have Patreon, but if you really cared, you'd figure out how to get it to us anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And then I forget what happens after this. I just remember that Soichiro describes how that winter sucked for everyone because his dad died, and his dad
Mhm.
said, just make sure you find somebody you can love more deeply than yourself. If you can
Just
manage
be
that,
yourself, dude. Dies.
that's not even what he says.
No, but it's fun here.
Okay. Yeah, he says just make sure you find somebody you can love more deeply than yourself. If you can manage that, you've got it made in life. And Soichiro just reflects on the fact that he definitely didn't love Yukino more than himself. Which I didn't know what to make of that, really. It was just an observation he made. And then we learn as Yukino is resigning, like a bunch of students are trying to talk to her and are sad to see her go. And then apparently fucking Takao got into a fight with the I couldn't figure out because I didn't bother checking the names if he got into a fight with the girl that started the rumor or if he got into a fight with the guy that confessed to her. Oh, Robert says it was the girl. Right, yeah, so allegedly, let me revise my statement. Allegedly, he got into a fight with this girl where he allegedly hit her first, despite him having multiple bruises and her being completely untouched.
Mhm.
But we don't really get to know what that was about. I mean, we can imagine what the fuck it was about as soon as he realizes that this girl that he's been, going crazy over was a teacher at the school. Like, he probably heard the rumors because he went to the school and stuff, and then he'd be like, that bitch started it.
Mhm.
But we're not told explicitly if that's actually what happens. So, yeah. And then I think the last thing we see is like Soichiro finds the Aizawa girl like just smoking at a coffee shop or something, and he just sits down with her and is like, "Why stop smoking?" And then he pulls out a cigarette, which is honestly kind of a based move.
Oh yeah. Also, we see that Takao got into a fist fight with several third-year students. It was less a fight than Takao getting beat up. Aizawa was there in that group of third-year kids.
Oh, okay. My bad. I misremembered. But yeah, he sits down with her, takes out a cig, tells her to stop smoking. And then she's like, "Why would you tell me that? You're literally smoking right in front of my face." And he's just like, "Yeah, I know." Like I said, kind of a based move.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think he's just like, if I'm gonna make up for what I did to Yukino, it starts with this girl. And I didn't know what to make of that. It's like the chapter ends there.
Mhm.
So I was just left a little confused. But yeah, that was this segment of Garden of Words. Like I said, I liked it a lot. Mostly chapter 5. I liked having more insider knowledge on how Yukino functions. And why, I guess we learned why she eats chocolate with her beer, because that is a very weird eating habit. And then,
I'm gonna garden. I'm gardening.
okay, alright. You're a strange one.
I'm a strange one.
But yeah, chapter 6, I liked, most of the parts I liked about chapter 6 were just understanding Yukino more. I didn't really like the ex-boyfriend.
Mm.
Yeah, how did you guys feel about this segment overall?
I hope we see more Soichiro because he's cringe, and I want him to become uncringe.
I want him to become uncringe away from the story.
I think that's selfish
Why?
because then the other characters don't get to appreciate his uncringiness,
And?
and that's not beautiful.
Okay. I can't argue with that. What about the other two? Rob? Fiora? Rob says he liked it. Yukino chapters are top tier. So true.
I am busy dying to contribute anything meaningful.
Understandable.
I'm sorry.
Oh well, I don't have anything to say about the chapters. Is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
I don't have a lot to say.
Alright. Well then I think we are done with this. Oh yeah, we're doing 2 chunk chapters all the time. I don't know how far we are, but I think we're relatively close to being done. Yeah, we're over halfway through now, so we probably have like three more episodes of this before we're done. I presume. I don't know. Fiora, you don't need to create an account. Just log into the HBA account.
Very
Oh,
true.
This is 9/11 for trans women
What
who
if
are
I
kind
bother
of
look at things that are like, never mind.
that are what? That are like what?
Yora, what are you posting?
I
No,
want to look at my specific kind of lewds, okay?
more specific kind of what?
Lewds.
Oh.
It wouldn't make sense to use the HBA account for it.
Look, just like bookmark it, and we'll all agree to never look at bookmarks. You know?
You will do it one day and you will be like, wow.
I'll just forget. Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yora,
This is
I didn't know you were
slashing
the
faces.
I didn't know you were the gooner of the podcast.
Stop saying that.
I'm DJ Sex Pest.
Oh yeah, she is
Right.
DJ Cum Goblet. Right.
That's true.
Who am I?
DJ
You're-
whoever, I think.
Yeah, you're DJ whoever. And
Whoever.
yeah,
Right.
Emilio is DJ Disso Addict.
Yeah.
What?
Did you not
What?
Did you not see the meme that Aaron posted a bit ago?
I thought it was Cum Goblin.
Which?
Yeah, you are. No, it's Cum Goblet actually.
Which?
Aaron, do you have it on hand?
I'll find it.
Yeah. That's why on the list of stuff to do when we're all in Seattle has take picture, caption it with DJ names. I still think it's funny that we have start a fire on here. I can't wait to do that. Oh, also check. Did you see what Aaron tagged you in?
Yeah. I did. It
Okay,
seems
he
pretty
was the
credible.
Disso addict.
That was me.
Yeah.
350 at the door.
Of course, DJ whoever is Robert.
Mm-hmm.
That would totally be his DJ name. He wouldn't want to come up with one, and he'd be like DJ whoever.
Yeah.
I like how the DJ names actually like fit the pieces of media that we have pretty well.
Oh, yo!
Like Garden of Words is about being whoever in an uncaring world. Lisa is about everyone being a
There
sex
is nothing
pest.
in crosscode to suggest it is a Cum Goblin.
Yeah, but like
Goblet.
The NSFW crosscode subreddit has some disagreements.
What?
There's an SFW for this game. I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I looked up the crosscode subreddit just to see if it existed, and in the search results was NSFW crosscode. So,
Incredible.
what the fuck does Disso Addict even mean?
Disso is
I have no
dissociatives.
Oh, oh, that is actually relevant to HPMOR. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, this was episode 8, 9. This was an episode of HPA.
Wait, we're still recording?
Hey, we're
We've
still
been, yeah,
recording?
we've been recording the whole time.
No fucking way.
I never said I
Delete
stopped.
this shit right now.
If I
Do
don't
it.
tell you, if I
Do
don't
it.
tell you that I stopped, that means I didn't stop.
I thought you didn't anyway, but stop.
Yeah.
Delete
Stop.
that shit.
I'm not. I didn't do an outro. I'm not cutting it yet.
Right, I'm doing an impromptu outro anyway.
No, this was Hellish brain activity. As you can hear from the past 5 minutes, the brain activity. I can't believe she did this. She hates me. Why do you hate me?
No, I like that outro. The brain activity. Yeah.
Anyway, as you can see, the brain activity truly is hellish. Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye.